And welcome back, and it's the 2nd of Feb, the Further Maths 5 a day. Let's just go with the first question. Okay, so we've got it could be a GCSE question or a further maths question. This one, we've got a factorise. There's obviously two ways of doing it. You could just have a go, try the numbers, and the other one's the algorithm way. I think on this one, only because 3 only goes into 3 and 1. It's unlikely to be some really weird root of 3. So 3 and 1 are likely to be my starting values before the x. And let's get rid of the 1x. Let's just write it as an x because it's better. I want to then think of 10, or 10 is going to be 2 and 5, or 10 and 1. Because there's not many choices here, this is why I'm comfortable just to kind of have a go. I suspect it's going to be 2 and 5. So I need to multiply 3 by something and then add one lot of something else in order to give me 17. And technically minus 17. And that's going to be 3 times minus 5, minus 2 on the other side, and 3 times minus 5 plus minus 2 is minus 17. That definitely works. Happy with that one. Next question. Okay, AB is a diameter of a circle C, Q is the centre of the circle. So in other words, Q is my centre. A has coordinates 4, minus 1, and B has coordinates 6, 9. Right. Key to this question is the word diameter over here. Before I've even read what to do, I'm going to recognise that Q is halfway between A and B. Continuing. Find the equation of C. Okay, so there we go. First of all, let's do the diameter. So the diameter is going to be the length of A to B. And if A to B goes from, we go from minus 4 to 6, which is 10 across. And then it goes from 9 to 1, which is 8 across. Again, the direction doesn't matter because I'm squaring a number, so the negatives disappear. So in other words, that's going to be 10 squared plus 8 squared. And 10 squared plus 8 squared is going to give me, I'll just get my calculator to do it properly. So root 100 plus 64 is going to give me 2 root 41. But that's my diameter. So that means the radius is one of those. So therefore it's going to be 1 root 41, or just root 41. Next thing I need in order for the equation of a circle is I need the centre. And to work out the centre is just a midpoint calculation. So that's just going to be minus 4 plus 6 over 2 and 1 plus 9 over 2. And do this carefully. So minus 4 plus 6 is 2, divided by 2 is 1, and 1 plus 9 is 10, divided by 2 is 5. I have my centre, I have my radius, it's just pulling it all together. So equation of a circle is x minus the x coordinate of the centre, which is 1 squared, plus y minus the y coordinate of the centre, which is 5 here, equals the radius squared, so that's just 41. Question done. Next question. Okay, so we have an identity question. So this here means that for all values of x, everything on the left is equal to everything on the right. So therefore it must be the case if I expand the left, I can compare the coefficients because those things must be the same thing. So let's just do that. So I've got x plus a squared. Well, if I expand that, it's going to be x plus 2ax plus a squared times by x minus 2. Now you may have seen me do this before, but when I do this, I tend to keep the powers in a line. So let's show you what I mean. So x times x squared is x cubed. X times 2ax is 2ax squared, and x times a squared is a squared x. And then I'm going to multiply everything by minus 2, so that's minus 2x squared, minus 4ax. And this can be really messy, I've just realised what the coefficients are going to be. And then minus 2a squared. And if we add all of that up, that gives me x cubed plus 2a minus 2, this is what I mean about it being messy, 2a minus 2x squared plus a minus 4a, let's write that, so a squared minus 4ax minus 2a squared. And that, I'm going to write it in a different colour, is going to be equal to x cubed, well that's the same, so that's okay, plus bx squared, so I don't know a and I don't know b, plus 12x, oh there we go, so that's what I'm going to use to find my a, minus 72. So actually I've got two ways of finding the a, haven't I? So let's look at the coefficient. So in other words, I've got 2a squared is equal to 72, or minus 2a squared is minus 72, which means that a squared is equal to 36, which is nice because it gives me a nice number, which therefore means that it's going to be that a is equal to 6 or minus 6. Now, I've got a feeling that something's going to happen here. I'm also going to check the coefficient of x. So the coefficient of x tells me that a squared minus 4a is equal to 12, which means that a squared minus 4a minus 12 is equal to 0, which I can factorise down to be a minus 6, a plus 2. In other words, this one tells me that a, this is a really good question. I didn't realise this question would go this way, which tells me that a is going to be equal to 6 or a is going to be equal to minus 2. Now, a can't be equal to both 6 and minus 6 and 6 and minus 2. It must be the same as for both equations. In other words, it's true that a equals 6 and I've got one of the numbers. Let's go back to the x squared because now I know what b is. So b is going to be the value when I put 6 into the equation here. So 2 times 6 is 12, minus 2 is 10. And so that tells me, I'm going to write my final answer over here, that a is equal to 6 and b is equal to 10. Now, quick aside, only because I've done it here and it's quite messy. In an exam, make it really clear what your final answer is. It doesn't matter, as long as it's clear, a big square block around it, whatever it might be, it's fine. But just make it clear to the examiner that's my answer and that's what I'm going with. Either way, a equals 6, b equals 10. Next and final question of today. And I'm wondering if the space I have is a guide as to how much I'm going to have to do. Right, so work out the equation of the normal to the curve. Okay, the phrase equation of the normal implies differentiation. Now, as I have said in other videos, you will learn a lot more differentiation as you go through A-level, further maths, etc. So if you've learnt more, you're allowed to use it. Although I would say here, it's just easier just to expand rather than try and be clever. So if I expand my equation, I've got x squared plus 8x plus 7, which means if I differentiate it, that means dy dx is equal to 2x plus 8. So at x equals minus 5, my gradient is going to be, so let's do this carefully, 2 times minus 5 is minus 10, minus 10 plus 8 is minus 2, and that's the gradient of the tangent to the curve at that point. But I want the gradient of the normal, so therefore I'm going to write this down so it's clear. So the gradient of the tangent is minus 2, which means the gradient of the normal is the negative reciprocal, which is plus a half. I can't work out the equation of the line unless I have the y value as well. So at x equals minus 5, the y value is going to be, and I'm going to put it into the coordinate equation. So minus 5 plus 1 is minus 4, and minus 5 plus 7 is 2, and minus 4 times 2 is going to give me minus 8, which means my coordinate is minus 5, minus 8. Oh, there's a lot to this question, isn't there? Let's bring all this together. So I'm going to use y minus y1 equals mx minus x1 because I think it's always easier. And so that tells me the equation of my normal is y minus 8, which is y plus 8, is equal to a half x minus 5, which is x plus 5. Now at this stage, that's a completely acceptable answer. It depends what the question wants you to do. But let's do y equals mx plus c, because I imagine most of you will have done that. So that's going to be half x plus 5 over 2 minus 8, which I'm going to say 16 over 2, and write it like this. And bringing it all together, that gives me y equals a half x minus 11 over 2. And that's today done. Again, nice mix of questions. We're starting to see some different questions as we get into the new month, which is really good. Usual thing, do like, subscribe, leave a comment below, and I'll see you for the next one. Thanks all.